Welcome back to another one, you guys. If you are new to the channel, my name is Andrew with Younger Toyota in Hagerstown, Maryland. For more information on our inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. And so today, we're in the brand new 2022 Toyota Corolla because, guys, have probably noticed gas prices are getting pretty high at this point. So definitely a good time to check out a car that gives you 40 miles per gallon and starts at around $20,000 as well. Not to mention, of course, the stellar reliability. And so ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one. So having said that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so as you can imagine, there are several different trim levels for the 2022 Corolla. First one being the L, starting at $20,075, LE for $20,525, SE for $23,225, SE Nightshade Edition for $23,225, SE Apex Edition for $25,610, XLE for $24,475, XSE for $25,975, and lastly the XSE Apex Edition starting at $28,360. So as you can imagine, with all of these trim levels, there are a couple different power plants available for the new Corolla here. There are two of them to be exact. First one is going to belong to any of those trim levels with an L in it. And so that first power plant is going to be a 1.8 liter naturally aspirated inline 4-cylinder, putting out 139 horsepower at 6,100 RPM, 126 pound-feet of torque coming in at 3,900 RPM, power sent to the front wheels through a CVT, 0 to 60 time coming in at approximately 7.9 seconds, with MPG numbers coming in at 30 in the city, 38 on the highway, taking regular unleaded fuel. And this is the engine configuration actually that we do have here today. But so then you got the other option belonging to essentially all the other trim levels, and that one is a 2-liter naturally aspirated inline 4-cylinder, putting out 169 horsepower at 6,600 RPM, 151 pound-feet of torque coming in at 4,400 RPM, power sent to the front wheels through your choice of either a 6-speed manual or a CVT, 0 to 60 time for that one coming in at approximately 7.8 seconds, with MPG numbers coming in at 31 in the city, 38 on the highway, again taking regular unleaded fuel. But so before we do any kind of fun acceleration test here in our Corolla, I did want to mention to you guys there are drive modes for any of the trim levels that are an SE CVT or up, and that's going to adjust things like the shift points and the throttle response essentially. And also wanted to mention paddle shifters also for any trim level with an S in it. So if you wanted paddle shifters, go with the SE or the XSE or one of those essentially. But anyways, now having got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find it straight away. Let's put the acceleration here to the test first, and let's see how quickly we can get our new 2022 Toyota Corolla here up to speed. All right, guys, obviously it is super wet and raining today, so we'll see what kind of grip we get here, but 3, 2, 1. Actually not that bad. I didn't spin at the start, so that's good. CVT, you can tell. I kind of shifted like an automatic there. That was kind of cool, but this acceleration is okay, to be quite honest. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, and actually it's kind of quicker than a lot of other compact cars in this class as well, so I'll just put it that way. And again, when you combine that with the absolute stellar reliability, definitely not a bad option overall, but yeah, it'll certainly get the job done. You shouldn't have any issues emerging onto the highway with that. But anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. And so up front, you will find 10.8-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 10.2-inch solid rear discs. As far as that 60-0 stopping distance goes, that is going to come in at 129 feet. Then touching on suspension and handling, up front, you're going to get an independent McPherson strut front suspension. In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension. And actually, if you were to go with that Apex Edition, you're going to get increased spring rates for a little better handling with that particular trim level as well. But overall, as far as ride quality goes, it's been perfectly fine, quite honestly. But Hagerstown has some really nice roads, but still, it's been perfectly fine for me, I'll put it that way. And touching on visibility, that is absolutely excellent, perfectly fine, probably one of the best visibilities you can get in a compact car. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2022 Toyota Corolla. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2022 Toyota Corolla, finished in ruby flare pearl and completely covered in rain because it is pouring out today. So I got my umbrella, but anyways, let's go ahead and start up front. The front fascia is actually going to differ amongst the trim levels, or I should say, between the L trims and the S trims. S trims are going to give you a sportier design. We do have the LE trim level here today to be specific, so that is currently what you guys are looking at right now. To the sides, LED headlights actually come standard across the board for every single trim level, so I definitely love that. They do actually come with the automatic feature, meaning when it starts to get dark out at night, they will turn on automatically for you then. Automatic high beams also coming standard, even for the bottom trims. I absolutely love that. LED daytime running lights also coming standard as well. If you were to go with the SE trim level and up, you will get high grade LED headlights, so a little added illumination there. And then there is actually an adaptive front lighting system that is optional for $2,165. And by the way, that is optional for only the XLE and XSE trims. But what that essentially does is when you're going around a bend at night, the headlights are going to swivel based on the direction of your steering angle, better help illuminating what is around that bend, so you're less likely to hit a deer or a person or a bicyclist or whatever. So it's a safety feature in itself there. But that does pretty much round out the front end. I actually really like the front end on this one, but let's now go ahead and make our way to the side of the Corolla. All right, so but now since we are around to the side, black window surrounds do come standard. When it comes to the side mirrors, they are body colored power adjustable side mirrors for all trim levels with LED integrated turn signals for the SE trim level and up. Body colored door handles on all trims, but the nightshade, as you guys can imagine, the nightshade trim is obviously going to give you black door handles along with some other black accents as well, of course. Take a look down then at the wheel setup. 15-inch steel wheels with covers coming with the L. 16-inch steel wheels with covers coming with the LE. That is, of course, what you guys are looking at right now. 16-inch alloys for the XLE, and then 18-inch alloys for all of the SE trims. And that includes the XSE, of course, as well. But that pretty much rounds out the side. Let's now go ahead and make our way to the back of this one. All right, so but now since we are around to the back, you will find a body-colored shark fin antenna all the way to the top. Rear spoiler is going to be optional, but does not come standard. For example, if you go with the Nightshade or Apex trims, you'll actually get a gloss black rear spoiler if you were curious, but I actually really like the look without a rear spoiler. I think it'll look good either way, quite honestly. Trim level badging, you can see that on the back, so if you ever wander onto a Toyota lot, maybe on a Sunday, and you were curious what trim level you were looking at, that is one surefire way to figure it out. All the way to the bottom, there is a rear diffuser only for the SE trim levels if you wanted that, and there is a single exhaust outlet for the L trims, but you will get dual chrome tips if you were to go with one of the SE trims. However, we of course do not have that with us here today. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next. As always, here is that exhaust clip. So, but now since we are around to the back of the Corolla, when it comes to opening that rear trunk, there's a couple different ways to go ahead and do that. There's actually a button located on the driver's side floor. That is one way to pop the trunk. There is also a button on the key fob then as well. So once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 13.1 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, there is a 60-40 split, meaning the rear seats do fold down for quite a bit of extra space then if you needed it. There is some cargo lighting, of course, back there, and then if you were to lift up underneath the cargo floor, you're actually going to find a spare tire, which I always prefer as opposed to the fix-a-flat. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the rear legroom. That is going to come in at 34.8 inches. So for reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is me sitting behind my own driving position here. There is a rear center armrest with cup holders if you were to go with the LE trim level and up, so better reason to get this particular Corolla, I guess, that we are in today. There's a little bit of storage then for those rear passengers if they look forward then as well. No charging ports back there, no rear ventilation. They don't really need rear ventilation the size of the Corolla anyways. Then make our way up to the front seats, manually adjustable cloth seats coming with the L and LE, premium sport fabric seats for the SE, Softex upholstery for the XLE and XSE. Those two trims are also going to get heated front seats then as well, and those two trims are also going to get a power driver's seat with power lumbar. But having said that, even with our manually adjustable cloth seats, I gotta admit, the seats are pretty comfy still. Even without all the extra lumbar adjustments and everything else, seats were plenty comfortable for me in my short test drive here today. Then take a look at the steering wheel. It is tilt and telescoping. It will be leather wrapped if you were to go with the SE trim level and up. Otherwise, it will be wrapped in urethane like you guys are currently looking at there. So, but then making our way to the startup, let me start by showing you guys the key here. You do have your Toyota logo on the one side. Then when you flip it over, lock, unlock, and that button to pop the rear trunk like I was previously saying. It is a keyless entry with a push button start. If you go with the XLE or XSE trims, it is actually going to be optional then on the LE and SE, but we actually don't have that option today. So all I'm going to do is simply put my foot on the brake and turn the key. And so, but then once started up, tachometer is all the way to your left, speedometer is front and center, and then there is a relatively small digital display to the right to control what is on that digital display. There are steering wheel mounted controls found on the left side of the steering wheel. But as far as that goes, it gives you information like how many miles you have left until you hit empty, outside temperature. There's a digital speedometer if you wanted to display that, different safety features when you need your next oil change. The list goes on. Pretty much everything you could possibly want on a digital portion of the gauges. But then making our way to overall interior quality, there is a power moonroof that is going to come standard on the XLE and XSE trims, optional then on the SE. So we're not going to have it here on an LE trim level here today. HomeLink controls is going to be a $175 option that comes with the frameless rear view mirror if you were interested. Wireless phone charger also going to be optional. Ambient lighting is optional only for the XLE and XSE trim levels. So that's how you're going to go ahead and get that. Overall, it's pretty basic for the most part. In front of the shifter, you do have a little bit of storage there. Behind the shifter, there's an electromechanical parking brake, dual cup holders, and within the center armrest, you actually have a 12-volt power outlet and a phone charging port then within there as well. But like I said, everything's pretty basic. You got plastic door handles and a lot of plastic, I'll just put it that way. But anyways, then making our way to the infotainment screen. 7-inch color touchscreen display does come standard with the L. However, if you go with the LE trim level and up, you will get an 8-inch color touchscreen display, and that is currently what we are looking at right now. But Bluetooth and audio streaming coming standard. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay also standard for all trim levels, and the USB port where you're going to actually plug your phone in is kind of hidden, so I want to mention that. It's hidden in black just to the right of that little storage in front of the shifter. So again, I don't think a lot of people are necessarily going to see it there, but that is where it is actually located. But factory navigation system is actually going to be optional for the XLE and XSE trim levels. Can of course find some driving statistics up there if you wanted to, and of course your radio information. And so when it comes to the sound system, 6 speakers is going to come standard. However, there is an optional 9-speaker JBL sound system that goes for $2,865. That is an option just for the XLE and XSE trim levels. So having said that, we do of course have the 6-speaker sound system with us here today. So what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and turn on the radio, see what we got playing here today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. Okay, not a whole lot of bass. It's pretty much a standard 6-speaker sound system and what you probably would expect 6 speakers to sound like. So nothing crazy with that one. But last thing I want to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen at least is when you do put the Corolla in reverse, you will find a rear view camera taking up the entire screen, which isn't always the case, but which is always is going to lead us into safety. And so to start, IIHS top safety picks. That's certainly a good thing. Front side curtain airbags do come standard, driver's knee airbag as well, but also a passenger seat cushion airbag and rear side impact airbags. Those rear side impact airbags, it's actually an option on a lot of luxury manufacturers. It usually goes for a few $100s. So it's pretty cool they made it standard on all trim levels of the Corolla. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard, Toyota Safety Sense 2.0, which includes a pre-collision system with pedestrian detection, lane departure alert with steering assist, automatic high beams, road sign assist, lane tracing assist, and dynamic radar cruise control as well. Then if you were to go with the XLE or XSE, that is going to add to that a blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert. It's overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the new Corolla, great standard safety. The fact that a compact car gives you an IIHS top safety pick and comes standard with LED headlights pretty much says it all right there. Excellent reliability. You really can't get any better when it comes to reliability than the Corolla and the Camry and basically all Toyotas for the most part. Good fuel economy as well. And so, but that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow us on social media at the bottom of the screen. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews and everything else that goes on at the dealership. We do appreciate you guys watching more than you know. We will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.